Hi, this is Funny DBZ Chick for Gameplay HQ. Today I'm coming at you with a review for Clannad After Story. However, I'm going to go ahead and say spoiler warning. This will be full of spoilers, so if you don't want to hear a spoiler, all I'm going to say is it's a good anime, it's tear-jerking, it's not that much action in it, and yeah, it's basically a chick anime, but a lot of guys like it. It's very heartfelt, great storyline, great character development, and it's very, lets you get to know the characters very well. You're not just thrown into a character; you're introduced to the character versus the character being thrown in your face. So I highly recommend it. Now I got that out the way. Now I can get into me reviewing the entire Clannad app story with spoilers. So. Give you a second to stop the video. Okay, that was a second. Alright, here we go. Okay, Clannad is about Tomoya and Nagisa. Tomoya is the male lead. Tomoya is a boy who, is a senior in high school who's a delinquent. He skips classes, he doesn't really do schoolwork, he's just kind of coasting through life right now. After an accident with his father that resulted in an arm injury, he can no longer play sports, and his mother is deceased. His father is an alcoholic chain smoker. Nagisa, the female lead, is a very nice but naive girl who's actually attending her senior year for the second time. The previous year, she fell ill right before she can graduate, so she's retaking the class. Unfortunately, that caused all her friends, when she was in school, they already graduated, so that kind of leaves her behind with no friends. So she's kind of lonesome, but she's very well-meaning, sweet, and yeah, just well-meaning and sweet and caring. So Nagisa and Tomoya basically are strangers, and they kind of have a few run-ins with each other. But ultimately, Tomoya helps Nagisa fulfill her goal of creating a drama club and having a play. Along the way, with realizing this goal of hers, they gain a few friends. There's a couple of fights. And it's a whole bunch of subplots, and the subplots are really good, because it's not like a subplot where how some animes where there's a subplot and it only happens for one episode, and after that it's no reference to it, like it never happened in any other episode. No, the subplots are continued and carried out in each episode, so I like that. But anyway, the person that Tomoya mainly hangs around with is Yuhei. Yuhei is his friend. He's the comic relief of Clannad. He's very short. He's kind of sort of I want to call him a male chauvinist, but that's not the phrase I'm looking for. There's a word for him, and I can't think of it right now, so I'm tipping my tongue, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead. But that's his friend. However, Nagisa, she only has her family, which is Akio and Sanai, which is her mother and father. Akio and Sanai look a lot younger from their age, and they run the Furukawa bakery. Even though, Sanai's bread is not the most delicious thing to eat, and Akio is not afraid to tell her, is not afraid to talk about it behind her back, but usually when he talks about her behind her back, she's in the room and he doesn't know it, and usually he ends up eating the bread that he was not too fond of to make it seem like he does like it, which is a comedy relief. But throughout the series, these little orbs of light appear, which is happiness. And from what I understand is the more orbs of light you create, something really good happens. Now there is a massive subplot to Clannad, and it's the girl from the illusionary world, which is what the play that Nagisa wrote about. I didn't really get it at first. I actually understood it better in the Clannad movie versus in the series. So maybe that's just me. I had to watch it like 4 or 5 times, the series like 4 times to finally get what was going on. But anyway, eventually with Nagisa and Tomoya, they eventually fall in love and they end up together. And that's how Clannad ends. Now here's the funny thing about Clannad though. At the end of the series, they show like, what if Nagisa never existed? Who would he have gotten with? You know, because for what I understand, Clannad was also a visual novel, and one of those kind of games where you can kind of pick what girl you end up with. They kind of explored that a little bit, so you know that's how that is. But the illusionary world in Clannad, I don't know how to explain it. You have to kind of watch it to kind of get the illusionary world. But after the end of them getting together, it goes into Clannad after story. And Clannad after story starts off with Nagisa still in high school. Unfortunately, at the end of her senior year, yet again, she becomes ill and she could not graduate. So this is her 3rd year being a senior. So Tomoya moves out of his father's house. Well, he did that in Clannad, not in the after story. He'd been moved out. He actually lived with Nagisa's family. I think that has a lot to play in the fact of them falling in love with each other. So, excuse me. Sorry, I got the hiccups a little bit. But he gets a job as an electrician and whatnot. Nagisa's going through high school, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tomoya proposes to Nagisa while she's still in high school, I think. And he gets an apartment and whatnot. Things are really looking up for him, but tragedy strikes where he was offered a great job position, but his father messed it up by getting into a drunk driving accident, if I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure if the person he hit died or were they just injured. But Nagisa was there to support Tomoya, and he was able to overcome that disappointment and anger he had towards his father. And yes, his father was sent to jail. Now, after Nagisa graduates from high school, no, actually, she was sick. She got sick again at the end of her 3rd year of high school. Sorry about that. She did get sick again. But however, she got sick close to graduation, so she was able to graduate, but she couldn't attend the ceremony. So what Tomoya did was they had like a little ceremony there at the school for her, after she got better, with her and her parents and some friends they made through the drama club. Afterwards, Nagisa and Tomoya have a private ceremony and get married. And Nagisa moves in with Tomoya, and Nagisa gets a job as a waitress, and they're just living life and happily. Now, the obvious happens. Nagisa gets pregnant. Nagisa gets pregnant and whatnot. And the issue is now that since Nagisa's so sickly, can she carry the baby? So they talked about abortion and whatnot, but Nagisa said the only thing she wants is a baby. So she wanted a natural birth, but she couldn't have it, so she figured that she'll just go to the hospital. Fortunately, she goes into labor a lot earlier than intended, and she ends up having the baby at home. Sadly, though, Nagisa dies in childbirth on Christmas at that. She dies in childbirth during Christmas, on Christmas Day. And they have Ushio, a little baby girl. Tomoya is overcome with grief. And I have to say, the death of Nagisa is one of the saddest anime moments ever. It's right up there from that puppy, the puppy being killed in Elfenlied. But that's a whole nother video. Now, lost my train of thought. Okay, here we go. Okay, but Tomoya is very overcome with grief. He doesn't know how to accept it and whatnot. And Nagisa's parents, Akio and Tanai, have to step in and raise Ushio. for like 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure. It's somewhere between 3 to 5 years. In that in between time, Tomoe becomes a slave at his job, and he becomes a chain smoker. He drinks heavily and whatnot. But Sanai intervenes at a certain point. She was like, "Enough's enough. You know, you need to know your daughter." And Ushio and Tomoe finally bond and become father and daughter. You know, like they're supposed to be, not just by blood, but by emotions and feelings and all the other good stuff. So, if I remember correctly, yeah. So they're starting to bond. Tomoe gets his health back in order. Stops smoking, and he's not drinking or whatnot. And then Ushio falls ill, like Nagisa. Tomoe immediately quits his job and whatnot, and just to stay home to take care of Ushio, to the point where they don't have any food in their fridge really. And Sanai and Akio try to give them money, give him money to take care of Ushio, but his pride gets the best of him, and he wants to take care of her on his own. But eventually, Ushio does die in the snow. I think on Christmas, yet again, while Tomoe was trying to kind of do her last wish, which is to go to this place they went, go to this field where they went when they finally rebonded. Overcome with grief, Tomoe dies from a broken heart in the snow with Ushio. And yeah, that's one of the saddest anime moments ever too, watching a little girl die. But luckily, I guess enough orbs of light were saved up, and it was like the good thing that happened was, basically it was like Nagisa was never sick and Ushio was never sick. Basically, Ushio lives a happy life. That's basically the wish was. Ushio lives a happy life with both her parents never ill, just happiness. And that's how the anime ends. Now, the good thing about the anime is great story, great plot line, has you laughing 1 minute, crying the next. You get to really connect and bond with these characters. Now, the only bad thing I can say about the whole series collectively is I did not like how After Story was carried out. After Story was too drawn, okay, Clannad was really paced well. Like the episodes wasn't rushed or anything like that, Whereas After Story, everything was like bam, 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 bam. It didn't give you an opportunity to kind of get used to what was going on, if that makes sense. Like in one episode they got married. She says she wants to get pregnant. She gets pregnant. The next episode she dies. The next episode it's 5 years later. Ushio and Tomoe are forced together. 6th episode, Ushio and Tomoe get along. They're happy. They live a happy life. 7th episode, Ushio gets sick and dies. So it's kind of like that was a little fast. That's very fast for a 20-minute long episode each time. They could have paced that a little bit better. I would love to see them explore the married life between Tomoe and Nagisa and the relationship that Tomoe and Ushio gain. But it didn't really explore that. But you get what you can get. Okay. But what I was going to say. Okay, that's what I was going to say. But other than that, it's a really good anime. But what I don't like, which is unrelated to the anime, is the movie. The movie that was related. That's basically like Clannad After Story in one movie. The characters are drawn weird. The plot was everywhere. It was the storyline was messy. So just avoid the movie. Watch the anime. The anime is really good. I highly recommend it. This is my first. So without that done, I'm gonna say this is my first time doing a review. I'm nervous about it, whatnot. And hopefully, my plan is to do another review. I'm not sure what I'm doing on, but probably it's going to be either Nana, Black Butler, Kenichi, Elfen Lied, or I might just have to do a long video on Dragon Ball Z, or I may do Soul Eater. I'm not sure yet. Well, tell me what you think, and if you want to hear any more reviews or something like that, or even anime for me to watch, let me know and I'll check it out. Alright guys, peace.